Since it is World Food Day, today's gossip is right on your plate. It's about rice. Rice feeds more than half of the world's population and provides about 1/5 of all calories we eat. It's grown in over 100 countries, mostly by smallholder farmers who depend on it for their livelihood. But here's the twist. Most people don't know those peaceful flooded paddies we picture are also releasing methane, a super pollutant that traps 80 times more heat than CO2. In fact, rice farming alone makes up about 10% of all human-caused methane emissions. And whenever the leftover rice straws are burned in after the harvest, it adds black carbon, another short-lived climate pollutant that heats the planet and pollutes the air we breathe. But here's the good news. Farmers and scientists are already changing that story. Technologies like alternative wetting and drying, developed by the International Rice Research Institute, can cut methane emissions by almost half and save 30% of water and keeps the yields strong. So today our guest is joining me and Sandra to dig deeper into this, and this team is behind some of the most exciting rice innovations out there. Hi, Sandra.
Hey, Ava. And yeah, thanks for being with us here today. We're really happy to have with us an expert on rice. So Ole Sander is the senior scientist for climate change and also the climate change focal point for the entire International Rice Research Institute, known as IRRI. So thank you so much for being with us here today, Ole. We're really excited to learn about rice cultivation and also methane emissions from rice, but also how we can mitigate methane emissions from rice production. So could you let us know a little bit more about why you are motivated to work on low methane rice?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for the invitation. Pleasure to be here. My motivation, I didn't know much about rice when I started working at IRRI. I'm a chemist by background, but then I learned a lot of facts quickly about rice and especially methane emissions, and I found it quite mind-blowing how much greenhouse gases rice produces. So 1 hectare of rice produces roughly 1.3 kilograms of methane per day. So, and you can, methane is a gas, it's not very heavy. So you can imagine how much volume 1.3 kilos are. It's a lot.
Interesting. And I really want to make sure people realize what the real gossip here is, which is that your institute, the International Rice Research Institute, also known as IRRI, is actually the institute where AWD was developed, alternative wetting and drying, which is a technique that the CCAC has been really actively promoting really since the beginning of 2012 when the CCAC was formed. Could you share with us a little bit about how AWD was developed?
Sure, yeah. AWD was developed maybe 25, 30 years ago, end of the 90s, by IRRI together with partners, mostly from the Philippines and Bangladesh, as a water-saving technology. So the whole idea was to have a technology and an adaptation technology for water-scarce environments. The whole greenhouse gas mitigation effect and impact on emissions from rice came actually later and was then maybe the driving force behind AWD becoming more widely known, but it was developed as an adaptation technology.
Yeah, because actually I was super curious about that because I feel like I've known about AWD my whole life, but I think it's just because I've been fortunate to be in the CCAC since 2012. Can you share with us, what was IRRI's secret? How did you build capacity and scale up this solution?
So I'm not sure how much of a widespread practice it is, but so one of the success stories, I think, would come from Vietnam, where IRRI worked very closely with the government, with the Ministry of Agriculture and also the Vietnamese Extension Services to develop new updated extension materials and programs that incorporated AWD as one component. And that helped maybe with the uptake by farmers. I think well-known, or more well-known, it became really through the Paris Agreement, and by countries formulating mitigation targets. And then rice-producing countries saw that the rice sector actually has very high emissions in their countries. So in Southeast Asian countries, for example, the rice sector emits roughly as much as the transport sector. And so there was an urgent need to find also ways to reduce greenhouse gases from rice. And AWD has a very high mitigation potential and was then chosen as often the key technology for that.
And I have a question. So, what's the advice you would give to any policymaker who would want to scale AWT in their country?
It's a good question. I would probably say don't make it too complicated. And I think the most successful or basic strategy is included as a standard technology in the extension service work and in the extension packages. So every country has some level of field agents and extension workers integrated in the standard work.
So our final question is that there are more than 130,000 varieties of rice, which are grown by 144 million small farms, if I'm putting this correct. Do you have a favorite, and which one you would choose?
Well, I should probably first clarify that the 130,000 are not necessarily varieties. They are lines, they are breeding products. Most of them have never been grown in actual fields. There are probably around 5,000 or so varieties that are being grown in the field. Do I have a favorite? No, not really. Different dishes go well with different types of rice, but I'm probably the wrong person to judge which is a good or a bad variety. If I should say my favorite rice variety, that's IR64, just because it's the most well-researched variety in the world.
So, well, to kind of wrap up this conversation, this has been super interesting to me. I, at the CCAC, have been thought AWD was, already institutionalized when I started working with the CCAC in 2012. So I'm really happy to learn about the history, and I hope the CCAC has actually played a small role in helping to build this capacity, because for us, AWD is one of our cornerstone primary solutions that we have been actively advocating for all of these years. And to see the amount of water savings combined with the methane, the mitigation of methane, and also just the promoting the good plants. Like this AWD also promotes good root anchorage, as I understand, and to be able to improve the crop, to improve food security, while at the same time reducing methane and saving water resources, is really fantastic. It's been a really big pleasure to speak with you today, Ole, and Ava and I really are enjoying learning so much from you today, and hope that our whole CCAC partner community will really also take this on and share this around in their networks. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much. You too.